Yo, what it do? Hot Dimes TV. This your boy Tez. We bringing that fire and we keeping it 100. Episode 14. First video of the year. You said what? First video of the year. Happy 2023, man. I hope y'all doing good. It only been what's today? 5 days into the new year. Let's make this year great. I ain't gonna take too long. I ain't gonna say a resolution. I ain't gonna get mushy. All I know is personally 2023 is a stepping stone for me. My life is my year. Big things gonna happen, and it's gonna be a stepping stone for much more to come. So I hope y'all have a great year as well. I hope y'all spent it with y'all family. I hope everything that y'all want 2023 to be is going to happen for y'all. Everything that y'all want 2023 to be is going to be. Enough of that. I'm feeling good. Now, if anybody know me, if anybody been watching the podcast, y'all know why I'm feeling good. Y'all know exactly why I'm feeling good. Because Green Bay, one more game and they in the playoffs. Oh my gosh. One more game and they in the playoffs. Hey, I'll be the first to admit, I didn't think it was happening. Not this time. I am optimistic. My wife says sometimes I'm too optimistic, but you know what I'm saying? It's a gift and a curse. But the way they was playing, and not even that, the way that they needed some of these other teams to fall off, it just really did not seem ideal. Anybody can tell you that. I'm like, it's just no way this happening. I couldn't see it happening. But without a doubt, just like Aaron said a couple times in this year, RELAX. Shh. Relax. All they got to do on Sunday, which is not easy, is beat a red-hot Detroit team in Lambeau. Come on, you can't tell me it don't get no better than this. The team they sold to earlier in the season, a division game, coming off a 41-17 spanking they put on Minnesota, coming off the victory for Miami. Bruh, what? It don't get no better than this, man. Hey, Aaron told us they was going to get it done. He said they needed a couple games. Shout out to my boy Aaron. After that Tennessee game at home, I didn't think they had a chance. I was looking at the schedule, and out of all the games, I thought the Miami one was going to be the one that they lost. But once they won that one, my confidence went through the roof. I wasn't worried about Minnesota. I didn't think the score was going to be like that. And to a certain extent, I'm not trying to write off the Lions, but it's just one of those things where for the better part of Rodgers' career, just like a Tom Brady, it's just those two have owned Tom Brady when he was in New England. He owned that division, basically the entire division. Same thing with Green Bay. Last time Minnesota, one of the few times, a while back when they made the playoffs, I think the Packers beat them in the divisional round. So it's like they had a good year, met the Packers, lost to them. Bears, even though it was a long time ago, of course, in the playoffs, when Green Bay had to get to that Super Bowl, who did they beat? The Chicago Bears in the NFC title game. It's just certain stuff sometimes don't change, but it's going to be tough. I'm telling you, the Lions game is going to be tougher than Minnesota. I'll tell you that. That's food for thought. Most people thought it'd be the Minnesota one. No, it's going to be this. Did I say Miami the first time? Sorry if I said Miami. It's going to be this Detroit game. I'm telling you, this Detroit game is going to be a great game, and they flexed it to Sunday night, which they were talking about earlier. Which, even though I'm a Packer fan, it benefits us. I agree with. The NFL said they were going to try their best to have games that matter, like towards the end of the season, be played at the same time. So one team, so this is the scenario basically. Let me break it down. So the Lions have to win in Lambeau to go to the playoffs, but they also have to have the Seahawks, I think, lose. So if the Seahawks win, some people say they might not be as motivated, which is still true. In the back of your mind, you already know you're not going to make the playoffs, but I think they still be motivated just off the fact that they have a chance to ruin somebody else's playoff hopes, and it's in your division, and it's Green Bay. It's not like it's Chicago are Minnesota. It's a team that's basically been, like I said, owning the division. So with that being said, I get why they did it because of TV, purposes, money. You don't want to watch certain other teams for a Sunday night game for the last week of the season. So I get why they did it, but I still think they should have had them play at the same time as the Seahawks. But with that being said, I'm feeling excellent to start off the 2023. We got to talk about what the Packers did to Minnesota. And we really got to talk about what Jair was doing to Justin Jefferson. Now, of course, like I said in the previous podcast, he said it was a fluke what Jefferson did week 1. It wasn't a fluke because we saw what Jefferson did the entire rest of the season. We know Justin Jefferson amazing, but it's just sports talk. It's banter. Let me get this out here because I'm getting sick of people giving my boy Jair a hard time. When you play in that quarterback position, you have to have that type of confidence, that type of swag to, talk like that because this is a pass heavy league and a wide receiver league. If you was probably to ask a kid right now what they want to be in the league, 9 times out of 10, it'll be a wide receiver. It's just catered to them right now. So when you play a cornerback, it's probably the hardest position to play besides QB. You on an island most of the time by yourself. You playing all these great receivers. Of course, sometimes you have help over the top. But to play that position is tough. So what Jair did to Justin Jefferson on Sunday was amazing. Now, I'll be the first to admit as well, this is another thing I hate that y'all do. Y'all keep saying that he had help. Everything wasn't one-on-one. Duh! What are you talking about? You'll be stupid to always leave somebody one-on-one with a Justin Jefferson. That's obvious. But for the most part, Jair did his job. Because why was Justin Jefferson, why nobody else couldn't do that? Why nobody else everybody didn't double team him? He still got to do his job in order, for that help to be there. He can't get cooked, beforehand. Then the help don't matter if he already getting beat at the line of scrimmage. And that's what I want to focus on. The way he was jamming him and how physical he was, I never seen that. I never seen that done to Justin Jefferson. I'm not just saying that because it's Jair. He was getting physical. If you think I'm lying, go back and look at when he was jamming him at the line of scrimmage. That was Jair, one-on-one. He was locking that boy up. And not even just Jair. Adam Thielen was getting locked up too. I think both of them didn't even have a catch in the first half. I think Justin Jefferson got 1 catch in the first half. So between your 2 wide receivers in the very first half, they both were shut down. Goose eggs. Come on now. Get this man his props. He backed up what he said, and that's most important too. If you're going to talk, you have to back it up. Another thing, and if you look at his post-game interview too, he cleaned up. Basically, I like that one better than the first one when he said the Justin Jefferson thing was a fluke. He basically said Justin Jefferson amazing. Don't get me wrong. He said I got him in my top 3. I'm kind of paraphrasing. He said I got him in my top 3 receivers. But Jair said I said what I said and I meant what I said. And we saw the result to that on Sunday, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm getting happy. I'm getting excited now. Let me tell you why. It's a lot of scenarios where it can get tricky. And as a Packer fan, I don't want it to happen. Do I want to play the 49ers in week 1? Why would I want the Packers to play them week 1? Because that's what possibly is looking like. It's a lot of scenarios that basically we still don't know because it's literally coming down to the last week. You couldn't ask for a better thing as a sports fan because it's basically going to come down to this last week. Whoever win, whoever lose, it's a lot of jumping that can go on. Like a team can be high as the 1 seed or as low as the 4th seed. The only thing that's locked in for sure is that we know Detroit, Seattle, or Green Bay is going to be that 7th seed, and then I think the Giants are locked at the 6th seed. Everything else can go up and down. That's what's crazy. Like the Eagles can finish as high as the 1st seed or as low as the 4th seed. So it's going to come down to this last week. But as a Packer fan, most of the time, history does repeat itself. So, playing the 49ers would not be ideal. But let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. Because we might not get a chance to. So, let me just play devil's advocate for a moment. Let's say Green Bay beats the Lions. They get in the playoffs. They play the Niners. Brock Purdy, he's been amazing. The hottest teams right now, if we're being honest, 3 of them are in the NFC. The Packers, they're on a 5-game winning streak. the Lions, they've been red hot, and the Niners are on a 9-game winning streak. And Brock Purdy, he's been balling absolutely. Shout out to him. He deserves all the credit. He doing everything that he's supposed to do, but he still hasn't seen the playoffs. So we got to see if he can operate, you know what I'm saying, under that pressure. It's different once you get in the playoffs. And also, if Green Bay was to beat them, I know it sounds stupid. I know it's a lot of stretching. It's not ideal because their defense been playing amazing. But like I said, let's say Brock Purdy, they get in there, they play them. He doesn't play good. Green Bay beat the Niners. You know what that's gonna do? You know what type of like monkey off the Packers' back, off of Aaron back, off of that organization, how they gonna be thinking? Because if we being honest right now, if we literally being honest, the Buccaneers haven't looked good all year. Maybe they coming along because they won that last game. Maybe they are coming along and it's still Tom Brady in the playoffs. But they haven't looked good all year. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm not trolling. I promise you I'm not trolling. But it's just, come on, bro. Like, really, especially as a Packer fan, since I've been watching them, Aaron Rodgers undefeated versus them. He like 4-0 in Jerry World, 4-0 in Jerry World. Just beat them again this year, so I'm not worried about them. Vikings, same thing. And the Eagles are banged up. Now, those are the two teams, though. I'm not worried about the Giants either. It's the Eagles and it's the Niners. But let's say they beat the Niners and the Eagles are kind of banged up right now. Who knows what can happen? Literally, who knows what can happen? Okay, back where we left off at. So like I was saying, I believe I was talking about the matchups. Yeah, let's talk about the matchup. So you might catch the Eagles, you know, like I said, they kind of banged up. So they're not better than them, and they're definitely not better than the Niners. But any other team, it's really pick your poison. It's not far-fetched, or it's not something that's not considered, you know, you can't make a case for them being the scariest team in the NFC besides those top two teams. And what have Green Bay been doing well? They've been running the ball and playing defense, which equals to success in the postseason. You have to run the ball. You have to play defense. Early on, they kind of did that, and they got away from it. That's what was helping them get those wins. You have to run the ball. You have A.J. Dillon. You have Aaron Jones. Run the football. And remember, they harped on the defense before the season started, talking about how Green Bay never had a defense. This might be one of the years where it's backwards, where they was talking like it was going to be dangerous. And it didn't really pan out to be like that. It been inconsistent. Some injuries happened. Which, over the last 4 games, they held opponents to 20 points. If they can do that, come on now. 20 points or less, I'm good with that. That's been the problem in Green Bay, besides special teams. So they can hold them to 20 points or less. It's scary. And they doing this without Rashawn Gary. Ooh, was that a bar? Hold on, slow it down. I just dissed you. I said they can hold opponents to 20 points or less. It's scary. And they been doing it without Rashawn Gary. Come on, man. Don't nobody want to talk about that, though. Ain't nobody going to talk about that. But you know how I go, man. I'm going to talk about it, though. I'm going to get their names out there. I'm going to let people know they can run the ball, play good defense. It's like Aaron the decoy right now. He's kind of like a game manager. He haven't been having the best stats, but he's been making the throws, making the plays necessary. So I'm excited for this last week, man. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Only last thing I would do to play devil's advocate, let me throw this stat out there too. It's only a few teams that won a Super Bowl as a wild card. The Baltimore Ravens, the Giants, the Green Bay Packers. They might be the only 3. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. For my lifetime, that's all I know. So that's a long time. So that's special. It's almost mimicking that same 2010 season when they did that. And how special would it be to get back to the promised land, get back to the goal, get back to the championship game. The year, that offseason that they had, losing Devontae, all the stuff with Aaron Rodgers, the rookie receivers. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. But enough harping on that, man. We done with that. I spent enough time with that. Let's see, man. My predictions was right. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, though, because I'm going to do my other predictions. For the weekend, I'm going to do a couple games. And for the playoffs, I'm doing every single game. I can't wait for the predictions when the playoffs start. But Yeah, I talked about the playoff scenarios already. Oh yeah, first and foremost, I should have opened up the segment with this, man. Shout out and prayers to the Bill safety. Hold on, let me get his name right. I don't want to mess his name up. So I don't want to just be saying anything. But I think. Oh yeah, Damar. Okay, yeah, it's Damar. I always want to say something else. Damar Hamlin, prayers up, blessings to him and his family, man. I hope he has a good recovery, speedy recovery. You never want to see nothing like that happening, man. The last thing I heard from today is he actually is doing good. He's breathing, his eyes are open, and he's able to like grip his family member's hand. They said so. Is crazy. That's amazing, bro. Like I love it. Because they said basically he like 3 or 4 days ahead of track. Like that normally wouldn't happen until like a day 5, day 6, and only been 48 hours since that happened. So prayers up to him, man. Shout out to the doctors, everybody that's going through that, his entire family. Blessings up, prayers up, man. Hope for a speedy recovery, and I hope that everything comes back to normal where he has no type of effect. Had to get that out there. Another thing I want to talk about. The indication because of that game and what happened, the Bills and the Bengals game is looking like they saying they might not play. Now, the last thing that I saw this morning, which was actually a great scenario, was they were saying basically what they do is cancel that game, let it play out how it plays out. So let's say, like the Bills win, the Chiefs win, and Bengals win. They all win, something like that, and the Chiefs stay the first seed. They will give the first 2 seeds a different option. So if you're the first seed, you get a choice of a bye week or having home field advantage. And whichever one that the first seed picks, the second seed gets the other option. So let's say the Chiefs are the first seed and they pick home field advantage. That means the Bills will get the first round bye, which I think is a great idea. There's only so much you can do in these scenarios. We never seen something like this happen. So it's actually very, very, very crazy. But I think that's a great idea. You got to give them some grace. You got to give them, what I'm saying, it's nothing like this happened. So it's they kind of going on the fly and they doing the best that they can. I think they're going to do a good job. It's very unfortunate because of the magnitude, because of the teams that's involved, because we know the Bills, the only reason why they probably haven't been in the playoffs Super Bowl these last 2 years, is it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years because of the Chiefs, because they beat them last year, right, in the divisional round, and then the year before that, the Chiefs beat them in the AFC Championship game. So let's say there was to play again, and then Kansas City gets the home field advantage. That's so. Now, as a Bills fan, I feel for it. I would be livid. This is the true example right now of life is not fair. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So we're going to see how that pan out. It's going to be crazy, man. I think we're going to be in for a treat for the playoffs, man. You got the Bengals who sneaking up, like I said, playing great at the right time. You got the Bills. You got the Chiefs. You got the Miami. Now, if Miami can slide in at that last spot in the AFC, you don't want to play them. I don't care. Like they just dangerous. They can beat anybody. And like I said, I already talked about the NFC side. It's going to be a lot of scenarios, but this is what I will say. I'm going to give some love to Aaron and the love to Brady. No matter how the season looked, no matter how much they got talked about, we might have ourselves a situation where we seeing both of them in it with the Bengals, not the Bengals, the Buccaneers are automatically in the playoffs. But let's say the Packers do get in there. Where it looked like it was not a shot that it was going to happen. And you got Aaron sitting in the playoffs. You got Tom Brady sitting in the playoffs, just like we always do. That's insane. That's insane. And them other quarterbacks still don't want to see them because all the other ones still really not proven in other teams. So you don't want to play them no matter how bad that they look all season. I still think you don't want to play Tom. You don't want to play Aaron, man. It's just crazy how we sitting here find ourselves talking about them again, being right in the mix, man. So shout out to them, man. We really got to take time to appreciate their greatness. I don't care how you feel about either or, because I'm not even a Brady fan, but I'm not stupid. I'm going to give respect, and that's a big part of how I am just in general and on this podcast, because I feel like sports fans cannot do that. It's so narrative. It's so bias driven. No, give these people their respect. I don't care what you say. Aaron is a GOAT. Tom Brady is a GOAT. You can call him the GOAT. I get it. He's not my GOAT, but I get it. They both amazing. We gotta appreciate their greatness, bro. Look what they doing at their age still, playing to this level. Still finding themselves in the mix in spite of everything that happened this season. So we gotta give them some love. And I'm telling you, you can't tell me that them NFC teams and them managers and organizations looking like I do not want to play them. I don't care what nobody say. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I want to talk about before I switch over to basketball? I think that's it, man. I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet right there because I know after this week it's gonna be amazing. So let's talk about the NBA. Oh my goodness, the league has been cooking. These players in the league have been cooking. Donovan Mitchell, 71. Luka, a 60-point triple-double. Jokic, dang near averaging a triple-double. Giannis in his last 4 or 5 games averaging a triple-double. KD cooking. Joel Embiid cooking. Oh my goodness. Bro, somebody said it, and I said it even before I saw this too. There was somebody on ESPN or SportsCenter earlier this week. Bro, this is going to go down as probably the most historical season that we had. Look at what's going on. And me and my boys was talking about this last season, how last season could have been one of the greatest NBA seasons if everybody stayed healthy, stuff like that for the most part. And it's looking like it's this season because look at what people are doing. Look at what Steph and D-Book was doing before they got hurt. I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy right now. I want to give a couple teams some love. We gonna start off with my Milwaukee Bucks at first, of course. Bruh. Giannis in his last 4 games, he averaging 48, 18 boards with 7 assists. This is without Middleton and Drew Holiday. They not gonna talk about it enough, so I'm gonna talk about it, Milwaukee. They not gonna talk about it enough, but I'm gonna talk about it, bro. I promise you, if Giannis was in LA, which is my other team, but if that was in LA, if he was in New York, if he was in Chicago, he just still don't get the credit I think he deserved. And I was watching one of my boys' podcasts, and he said it the best. Giannis is in that stage, which is funny because he just said something about a quote about being boring. Giannis is in that stage where it's every year he's going to be in the MVP conversation, but the MVP is just not about stats, numbers, team wins, standings, your play, the way you're playing. It's about narratives and the storyline too, which I get, because they're not going to be wanting to just give him those MVPs like that, kind of like how they did Bron. Basically, he in that type of stage where it's every year is a given, so you almost take it for granted because you already know what he's doing and what he's going to bring to the table. So right now, they got Luka as the front for MVP, which I'm okay with. Because Dallas on an 8-game winning streak right now. And despite how you feel about Luka, that boy is cooking. He doesn't play defense like a Giannis on both ends of the floor, like a KD, like Embiid. But if we being honest, his team really, he needs some help still. But we're going to talk, he needs some help still. But my point with the Giannis thing was he's in that category to where it's basically you take him for granted, so you overlook him. But the thing that people is not spending much time is talking about with the Bucks is how